Fellow Ugandans and members of the media, I take this honor to announce that Uganda will, on the 9th of October 2020, celebrate its 58th Independence Day celebration. Unlike in the past, this year's celebrations will be held in a scientific manner in what is termed as the new normal. A few VVIPs will join the President at the State House in Entebbe to celebrate the day. This year's theme is celebrating Uganda's steady progress towards economic takeoff and self-sustaining economic growth. The ceremony will be presided over by His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. There will be no traditional programs and fanfare because, as a country, we are still observing the Ministry of Health guidelines of the standard operating procedures as we manage the COVID-19 pandemic, which is fully in our midst. The day's program will be aired on live on all television and radio channels across the country. As most of us are aware, Uganda got her independence in 1962 from the then colonial masters, the British. The journey since that time has not been an easy one because it has been characterized by many ups and downs. This indeed was by design. Our colonial masters handed us independence with a lot of confusion and the tricky unsolved political issues that have made part of the journey very catastrophic. However, like Kwame Nkrumah observed, and I quote, "Those who would judge us merely by heights we have achieved would do well to remember the depth from which we stand." Close quote. No words can sum up better as we are all familiar with our colonial era journey and its ups and downs. Tribute goes to all those who have paid the supreme sacrifices in the cause of national building. To stand does not mean that you cannot fall, but to fall, rise, stand, and move forward is what makes undisputable achievement. Indeed, since the 9th of October 1962 to date, Uganda has stumbled and even fallen, but we have taken it in our strides, risen, stood firmly, and made fundamental steps forward. True independence enables the benefiting nations to build self-confidence, realize their full potential, and lead a life of dignity and fulfillment, a life free from exploitation and or any other social and political oppression. Indeed, Ugandans attained full possession of their sovereignty and began on a road to decide and shape their destiny through democratic means. But achieving our destiny requires a deliberate, qualitative change in all aspects of our lives, especially the structure of our economy, the nature of our infrastructure, the education of our young people, and acquisition of skills, and above all, in attitudes and holding firm to the values that define us. Ugandans today live almost twice as long as the independence generation. This is thanks, in part, to the recent programs that make medical equipment available to parts of the country under and once underserved. Thanks to the NRM administrators' free maternal care program, So far, infant and child mortality has been tremendously reduced, giving hope to thousands of mothers. Referral hospitals, healthcare center 3s, 4s, 2s have been constructed across the country to further enhance universal health care in Uganda. The Ministry of Health has ensured that 100% of our children are immunized against all the 13 preventable diseases, and routine immunization services are provided at all health facilities and outreaches conducted in all districts within the country. The government of Uganda introduced universal primary and secondary education and partially in tertiary institutions, and virtually every child in our country benefits from free education, an opportunity open to fewer hundreds at independency. We have over 10.78 million children in our primary schools, 1.95 million in secondary schools, and these are supported by the government of Uganda. Uganda's economic growth has averaged 7% over the last 30 years. We have sustained single-digit inflation over a long time to date. Government will be implementing the National Development Plan 3 and focus on strategic objectives such as enhancing value addition to the productive sectors, which include agro-processing, mineral industrialization, oil refineries, among others. The above areas are expected to support a sustainable and accelerated growth. We now call the call now is to work strategically and harness the opportunities at hand. However, without taking the path of neo-mercantilism, the NRM government is aware that no meaningful national unity, security, and prosperity can occur without lifting the 68% household in subsistence agriculture to the market economy, especially in value addition and producing for export. Agriculture remains the main thrust of Uganda's economy, with agriculture-based products, and it employs over 70% of our people in Uganda. All efforts to uplift this sector are being put in place to achieve full mechanization in this sector. Industrialization is another critical pillar to our economy, and the government has wasted no time to realize this dream. The Uganda Investment Authority set out a strategic plan to acquire and develop 22 industrial parks in Uganda. Currently, 9 industrial parks are at different levels of implementation, and these include the ones at Namanve, Luzira, Bweyogerere, Soroti, Mbale, Moroto, Kasese, Mbarara, and Jinja, among others. The government has built physical infrastructure in form of availability of energy and water in most homes. The government has also built connectivity infrastructure in form of wider, better highways, as well as airports in the interior of our country. The government has equally built legal infrastructure by rewriting obsolete laws to make life easier for our people. Finally, the unity of our people is another hallmark that defines our treasured independence. Unity does not mean we agree on all things, but it is a requirement for our country to be able to have sustainable and sustainability that will enable us to invest in it without fear. Our founding fathers knew when they won independence that there was no going back to the political structures that preceded colonialism. The world has changed too much. There were too many dangers to our freedom if we did not come together to forge a new nation. This is why all Ugandans today join their countrymen and women to look back upon the dark days and conducted an evaluation of our collective efforts in the journey towards economic takeoff and self-sustaining economic growth. It is for this consideration that these celebrations will focus on the NRM government's performance in the regard. I want to thank the Fountain of Honor, who has worked tirelessly, who has led this nation with a vision to ensure that there is peace and security in the country. And without peace and security, socio-economic transformation will not take course. I want to wish you all happy celebrations, and I say this for God and my country. Thank you.